So today we're going to be taking a look at the best route into the RC hobby for beginners in 2025. Now, it can become really confusing for people, especially when they're seeing so many new releases hit the market, especially a lot of the mini cars from companies like MJX and Rlaarlo. Where do you even begin? So unfortunately I can't help the weather, there's nothing I can do, but it gives me an opportunity to put a video like this together, and I love doing beginner inspired stuff. I think it's really important to get as many people into the hobby as possible. So we're going to cover quite a lot in today's video, so bear with me. But it's important to get as much information out there as possible to make it easy for beginners getting into the hobby. Now the first thing we need to talk about is budget. You need to work out how much you're willing to spend on the RC hobby. Once you've kind of got a budget in mind, you can then start researching what would be the best RC car to go for. You also need to work out where you're going to use it and what you're intending to do. Do you want something that goes fast on road? Do you want something that can crawl? Do you want something that's a really good all-rounder that you can pretty much take anywhere and play with? Try to work out how much you've got to spend and where you intend to run it, and then you can move on to the next step. Now the next thing you need to consider is, do you go for a ready to run or a kit? Now going for a kit back in the day would have been the recommended option for beginners getting into the hobby, because you know how the car goes together, you know how to repair the car, and you know how to upgrade the car because, well, you have put it together, so you know exactly what you're doing. But these days going for a ready to run is probably the best option, because most times everything will be set up for you as soon as you get it out the box, and a lot of the time, especially with the more sort of affordable brands like MJX and Rlaarlo, you'll also get a battery in the box as well, so you don't have to buy anything else. Whereas going for something like a Traxxas or an Armour, you may also have to buy a battery separately, and of course a charger, because how are you going to charge your batteries? A lot of the more affordable cars come with a basic USB charger. The next thing you need to consider is, do you go for an RC car from a popular brand like Traxxas or Armour, or do you go for something like an MJX or Rlaarlo? Now the biggest reason to go for a Traxxas or Armour car is parts availability. You can pretty much go into any hobby store and you will be able to pick up the bits you need. Compared to MJX and Rlaarlo, you may have to order online, and those bits may have to come from China, and that can take up to 2 weeks to arrive. Now that's not an issue if you're in the UK. You can get local parts support for MJX and Rlaarlo through places like Serious RC. I think it really depends on your location. If you're in the US, for example, you may be better off paying slightly more and going for a bigger brand. Now another thing I would say is, get a decent charger from the start, and if anything, factor the cost of a charger into your total budget. Having a good charger is going to have so many benefits. You know, we all know what can happen to LiPo batteries if they're not looked after. A lot of the more affordable brands like MJX and Rlaarlo do come with basic USB chargers, and they do work, you know, and for a lot of people they work very well for a fairly long time. But I would say the safest option is get a decent charger, and, you know, especially in the long run, if you're looking to get into the RC hobby long term, well, eventually you're going to buy one anyway, so I would say just get one from the start. The final thing I want to mention is prepare yourself for some basic maintenance. Now, just like every real car out there, RC cars will require a little bit of maintenance from time to time. Now there are many videos out there covering basic maintenance when it comes to RC cars. I would definitely recommend checking some of those out. I'll also leave some links down below in the description if you want to check some of those out. I have also done a video myself on basic maintenance and some of the tools and stuff that you should keep when you're just getting into the hobby, so check that one out if you're interested. Also be prepared to repair your RC car as well, because there will come a time where it will break. Every RC car breaks, none of them are unbreakable. Don't be afraid of this, because there are so many videos and guides out there now as well, all over YouTube, which will help you to do some basic repairs. Now I've done an ultimate beginner's guide, it's over an hour long. It's worth checking out if you are brand new to the hobby and you want to pretty much cover everything there is to know in the space of an hour. Check that one out. I will also leave a link down below to that. So you've now got a budget in mind, you know how much you want to spend. There are literally hundreds of different options out there. Where do you even begin? Now many people have different opinions when it comes to the best beginner RC car, but I'm just going to give you some good solid options. Now we're going to start with the big brands like Traxxas and Armour. Let's take a look at Traxxas first of all. Now out of all of the cars they have, which would be the one I would recommend for a beginner? So when it comes to Traxxas, what would be the best option in my opinion? Now I would say the absolute classic and fantastic starting point would be the Slash 2-wheel drive. It's a durable short course truck, it's great for bashing in your backyard. You can also take it on track as well. Upgrades and parts are available everywhere, and I think the key word is durability, because you want something that's durable when you're just starting out in the hobby, and I think the Slash 2-wheel drive is pretty much the #1 car when it comes to Traxxas and you're just starting out in the hobby. So moving on, what would be a good option from the guys at Armour? Now I would say one of the best options from Armour would be the Armour Gorgon. The Armour Gorgon is an entry level monster truck, so don't expect crazy performance, but it does offer a ton of fun at a reasonable price. It features a really simple design, it's super durable, it looks cool, and it's just a lot of fun. Now depending on budget, if you can stretch to a little bit more, I would say look at the Armour 3S BLX lineup. And yes, I would actually recommend the old 3S BLX cars. If I was you, I'd steer clear of the 223S cars because they do have known ESC issues. I've tested a couple of the 223S cars out on my channel, and both times the ESC decided to shut itself down. Now many people have argued it's nothing to do with the ESC, it's just poor battery choice, although what I would say is I've seen people use the recommended Spectrum batteries and they've still had issues. I just think the ESCs are pretty poor, which is why again I would recommend the old 3S BLX lineup. Now of course this is a pretty big step up from the Gorgon. You're talking about cars which are actually pretty fast, but also durable, and there's plenty of upgrades out there as well. Now of course I can't only recommend the big brands because you know how much I support and love the budget brands and the affordable brands here on my channel as well. And of course the two brands that I'm going to recommend are MJX and Rlaarlo. Now let's talk about MJX first of all. Now I've done loads of videos covering MJX. They've gone from being a drone brand to an RC car brand, and although they've not always got it right, a lot of the time they have got it right. And their Hypergo range has actually turned out to be one of the best beginner choices and one of the best ways into the RC hobby. The Hypergo range has actually grown quite a bit and there's many different options now. If you're not looking to run on harsh terrain, I would say look into their 1/14 scale stuff like the rally cars, the truggy, and even the buggy. There's many different options, so do your research. Also check out some of the videos I've done on my channel. Now if you like the look of MJX but you're thinking, hang on, the 1/14 scale stuff may be a little bit too small for where I want to run, well that's absolutely fine because they do offer a 1/10 scale truck. It's known as the 10208. Now this is actually a 4S capable truck, and if your budget can stretch to it and you want to go even bigger, you could consider something like the 7303 rally car. It may not be the fastest thing out there, but that's probably one of my favourite RC cars of the year. Now when it comes to Rlaarlo, again they offer many different cars, but the one I would recommend out of the lot would be the Omni Terminator. And it doesn't matter if you go for the metal Omni Terminator or the carbon Omni Terminator, they're both equally as good. The carbon version is a little bit quicker, but look, if you're a beginner just getting into the RC hobby, please don't base all of your buying decision on top speed alone. I've actually just done a podcast episode over on my second channel, More Beyond RC, kind of talking about this common obsession at the minute and why so many people are obsessed with top speeds when it comes to RC cars. It may also be worth checking that out as well because I kind of cover the reasons why, and I cover the reasons why not to go for something really quick as your first RC car. Like I said earlier, all of the links to all the different stuff I've mentioned today will be down below. So yeah, I would say when it comes to Rlaarlo, the Omni Terminator is probably the best choice. Because I love the Omni Terminator so much, I'm giving one of you guys the chance to win one. All you need to do is head over to Raffle after watching this video. If you're not into monster trucks and you prefer rally cars, well I'm also giving you the chance to win a brand new XTS F10 from the guys at Rlaarlo. Both the Omni Terminator and this rally car are two of the best releases we've ever seen from the guys at Rlaarlo. If you want a chance to win these RC cars, I will leave a link down below. There'll also be a code somewhere where you can get some free tickets. Of course, there's other brands out there to consider as well, like High Boxing, HBX. Their 16889 is still one of the best RC cars around for beginners, but because it's 1/16 scale, I think it can be a little bit limiting. But if you're looking for a good skate park basher that you can throw around, I would say the 16889 is probably a good option. Now, it's impossible for me to mention every good beginner RC car out there. I can only give you a handful of the ones that I would pick if I was just starting out. And I think today I've given you some good choices when it comes to Traxxas, Armour, Rlaarlo and MJX. So if you're considering getting into the RC hobby in 2025, it really isn't that difficult. There's so much more information out there now compared to 20 years ago when I was just getting into the RC hobby. Now, experienced RC hobbyists watching this video, if you're still around and you haven't clicked away, because a lot of the stuff I've mentioned today you probably already know, this is a beginner inspired video. But if you are still around and there's anything I've missed which you think is really important for a beginner getting into the hobby to actually know, then feel free to drop a comment down below. And beginners watching this video, check the comments out, because again, if there's stuff I've missed, the chances are you may find some good information in the comments. So we're going to leave it there today. Hopefully the weather improves and I can get out and get some of the reviews done. Cheers for watching. See you on the next one. Take care.